The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the sprawling estate of Blackwood Manor. Amelia, a young journalist, received an unexpected invitation to cover the reopening of the manor, which had been closed for decades after a series of mysterious deaths. Curiosity piqued. She packed her bags and set off for the manor, located on the outskirts of a small, secluded town. The locals spoke of the manor in hushed tones, warning her to stay away, but Amelia was determined to uncover the truth behind its dark past. As she approached the manor, she was struck by its eerie beauty, its Gothic architecture standing out against the fading light. She was greeted by Mr. Blackwood, the reclusive owner, who welcomed her with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. That night, Amelia was awoken by strange noises echoing through the manor. Curiosity getting the better of her, she followed the sound to the manor's library, where she discovered a hidden passage behind a bookshelf. The passage led her to a dusty old study, filled with ancient books and artifacts. Among them, she found a diary belonging to Mr. Blackwood's ancestor, Lord Jonathan Blackwood, who had built the manor centuries ago. As she read the diary, a chilling tale unfolded before her eyes. Lord Jonathan had made a pact with a malevolent entity, trading his soul for wealth and power. In return, the entity demanded a sacrifice every generation to satisfy its insatiable hunger. Amelia realized that the deaths at Blackwood Manor were not mere accidents but sacrifices to the entity. Determined to uncover the truth, she delved deeper into the manor's history, unaware of the horrors that awaited her. As Amelia continued her investigation, she began to experience strange occurrences around the manor. Objects moved on their own, whispers echoed through the halls, and shadows danced in the corners of her vision. One night, she awoke to find herself surrounded by ghostly figures, their eyes empty voids that bore into her soul. Terrified, she tried to flee but found the doors locked, trapping her in the manor's grasp. Desperate, she sought out Mr. Blackwood, hoping he could provide answers. To her horror, she discovered that he was not who he claimed to be, but a puppet of the entity, carrying out its will in exchange for his own desires. Amelia learned that the entity's power was tied to a ritual that required the sacrifice of a pure soul. The next sacrifice was to be Amelia herself, chosen for her innocence and curiosity. Determined to break the cycle of death, Amelia sought out the help of the townspeople, who had long lived in fear of the entity. Together they devised a plan to confront the entity and put an end to its reign of terror. On the night of the ritual, the townspeople gathered outside the manor, armed with ancient runes and incantations. As the entity descended upon them, they unleashed their power, banishing it back to the depths of hell from whence it came. With the entity defeated, Blackwood Manor lay in ruins, its dark legacy finally put to rest. The townspeople returned to their lives, grateful for the peace that had been restored to their once quiet town. As for Amelia, she left Blackwood Manor behind, haunted by the horrors she had witnessed but grateful for the opportunity to have uncovered the truth. She vowed never to forget the whispers of the damned that had echoed through the halls of Blackwood Manor, a reminder of the evil that lurked in the shadows of the world. Months had passed since the events at Blackwood Manor, but the memory of that fateful night lingered in Amelia's mind. She had returned to her normal life, but the shadows of the manor followed her, whispering secrets and haunting her dreams. One evening, as she sat at her desk, she received a package. Inside was a dusty old book, bound in leather and sealed with a wax seal bearing the Blackwood family crest. Curiosity piqued. She opened the book and began to read. The book contained accounts of other haunted locations, each with its own dark history and malevolent presence. Intrigued, Amelia decided to investigate further, hoping to uncover more about the supernatural world that had consumed her thoughts. One of the stories in the book caught Amelia's attention, a tale of a ghostly bride who haunted an old churchyard on the outskirts of town. According to legend, the bride had been left at the altar by her groom, driven to madness by grief and betrayal. Determined to uncover the truth, Amelia visited the churchyard, now overgrown with weeds and forgotten by time. As she wandered among the crumbling tombstones, she felt a chill in the air and heard the soft sound of sobbing. Following the sound, she came upon a lone figure, dressed in a tattered wedding gown, her face obscured by a veil. The ghostly bride turned to face Amelia, her eyes filled with sorrow and longing. The bride's story unfolded before Amelia's eyes. She had been a young woman, deeply in love with her fiancé. On their wedding day, he had failed to show, leaving her alone at the altar, humiliated and heartbroken. Consumed by grief and rage, the bride had taken her own life, vowing to haunt the churchyard until her beloved returned to her. Centuries had passed, but her spirit remained, trapped in a cycle of despair and longing. Amelia felt a pang of sympathy for the ghostly bride, understanding her pain and the depths of her despair. She vowed to help the bride find peace, to break the cycle of sorrow that bound her to the mortal realm. Amelia sought out the local priest, hoping he could help her perform a ritual to release the bride's spirit. Together they gathered the necessary ingredients: a lock of hair, a piece of the bride's gown, and a prayer of forgiveness. On the night of the ritual, Amelia and the priest stood in the churchyard, surrounded by flickering candles and the soft glow of moonlight. They recited the prayer of forgiveness, calling upon the bride's spirit to let go of her pain and find peace. As they spoke, a gentle breeze stirred, and the ghostly bride appeared before them. She looked at them with eyes filled with gratitude, then slowly began to fade, a smile of relief on her ethereal face. With the bride's spirit finally at rest, the churchyard fell silent, the only sound the rustling of leaves in the wind. Amelia felt a sense of closure, a weight lifted from her shoulders. As she left the churchyard, she felt a gentle breeze caress her cheek, a whisper of thanks from the bride's spirit. She knew then that the supernatural world was vast and mysterious, full of wonders and terrors beyond imagination. Amelia returned home, the book of haunted tales in hand, ready to embark on her next adventure. She knew that the whispers of the damned would always follow her, guiding her toward the unknown and the unimaginable. For more scary and horror stories, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.